मन जाकर राखो जी, गिरधारी लाल। मन जाकर राखो जी।
This is episode number 34. We have been talking about the sign of a wise man, where true wisdom is, who is the true prophet, who is the one who represents the great and one God, what is love, and if a person is truly love, how does he look, how does he speak, how does he sit, how does he walk, what are his signs. This is the question of Arjuna, and this is the question quite often asked: how do I recognize the genuine saint? How do I recognize a right guru? How do I recognize a wise man whose advice I may seek for peace? And it is so beautifully answered by the Lord in one slok, in 2 lines. He has summarized all that we need to know, and it says what are his signs, or what is his language, or how does he speak. The Lord says, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parth manogatan atmani eva atmana tushta stita pragya tada uchyate. There are 2 things we need to watch in this slok or verse, which is verse number 55 of chapter 2, under the title of Stita Pragya, which is the word which is difficult to translate, but one whose knowledge is pure, whose knowledge is found within oneself. We can say such prophets as Lord Buddha, Jesus Christ, Shri Krishna himself, Mirabai, of course, Muhammad Sahib, all these prophets, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. What are their signs? Their signs are not the physical signs, their bodies or where they lived or when they were born, but or what they ate or with whom they moved or what time they came. Rather, what did they teach us? What was their teaching? Well, their teaching was their life. They lived what they taught, and they taught what they lived. Here then in this slok says, when a person abandons all his desires, all the desires that are described by lust of flesh, and greed for money, and endless greed, then sarvan, and one says not only he abandons his desires, but all desires. Everything that creates desires creates slavery. We become slave, and that is what we don't want. So anything that makes us slave is what we want to avoid. And therefore Lord says that the desires are the ones that makes us slave. We all know that. And Lord says all of them, whether they are bodily desires to satisfy our body, the desires to satisfy our mind or our intellect, desires to satisfy our ego, endless desire for name and fame, then the Lord says all these desires should be removed not outwardly but manogatan, from the mind, from the heart, from the very root. And then once we have removed these weeds in our life, then the crop will grow. Atmani eva atmana tushta. What will grow? Satisfaction. We need to be happy. We need to be satisfied. And more we run after desires, less we are satisfied, more we want. And so, more we want, more we run, more thirsty we are. And thus, the thirst we cannot quench by drinking more, but by abandoning the thirst. But giving up completely the desire for thirst is the way to quench thirst. And yet in today's culture, we are told to drink more and more, the soft drinks, the beer, the food, everything. We are told to eat more and more and more. It's a culture of bigger the better. So, Atmani eva atmana tushta, satisfying ourselves within ourselves, where we don't have to depend on others, because as soon as you depend on others, we are a slave. Even if we depend on our own body, we are slave of our own body. We are not talking about even outward other people. Only then he is the wise man, sthita pragya tada uchyate, then he is the wise man. So in short, the wise man is the one who gives up the desires that causes us pain, that causes us bondage, that causes us slavery, that takes away our peace. Well, if we examine ourselves and our life, if we have a moment to stop and think, unfortunately ignorance does not allow us to stop at all. We are in so much hurry. It is a culture of haste, hurry, running, fast. As one person I was talking to, one saintly person in India, he said, it is a culture of vultures. And I did not understand until he explained to me that vultures fly very high, but their eye is always on the ground, on the dead meat. In the same way, today we fly high, we talk big, we talk about God, just like the Dharma Gurus or politicians or the presidents of universities, all our leaders, governors, prime ministers, all the dictators, even our senators. All these corporation leaders, they talk about it, but it is a culture of vulture, he said. They are here to get money from the poor, those who work hard, carpenters and laborers and blacksmiths and plumbers, those farmers who work hard 8 hours a day in the sun to earn their bread, and all these vultures, they, in the name of serving the people, are only to tax us and take our money and not feel responsible, just like we notice in the stock market. We of course invest and we lose it. Everybody is after money. And culture of bigger the better, nobody is questioning why bigger is better. We are suffering, we have problems, yet we want to go after more desires. The desires cause us pain, and yet we want more pain, but nobody explains it, not even the church, not certainly in the family. Nobody warns us. I remember one time a person said that the automobiles in this country are unsafe at any speed, and this was a shocking news. Nobody liked his statement, nobody liked his book. These large corporations that make automobiles were after him. Uh, they just wanted to subdue his statements so that they can go on making cars and not provide safety. But finally, he won in the sense that the corporations grudgingly and slowly agreed, and today we find that cars are made safer and at least little better in our safety than it was before. But these corporation leaders who feel that they will have to spend more money, they don't like it, they want more and more money for their investors, their stockholders, the greedy people, and there is no end to it. So nobody thinks of the end user. End user is the one who really suffers. He is the one who pays the taxes. He is the one who suffers. And all these leaders who teach us in our culture are really the ones who think that they are benefiting, but they are also suffering. So these desires for bigger and bigger and bigger and better, we notice that even in the plane, today we eat more, uh, we are told to eat more, run more, uh, more sports. Everywhere we are talking about more. Even in the planes, the seats are becoming smaller because our bodies are becoming bigger. I read in the newspaper that this is becoming a problem in this country. They will have to enlarge the seats. They will have to pay more money. We will become more slave, and of course, carrying excessive weight due to desire to eat more, to become big. We have created our own problems. I do not know why such simple thing is not being pointed out to us by our leaders everywhere. Uh, it is amazing what we feed our children, what we feed our students in the universities. As I said other day, today there is a fad. This is a culture of fad. Uh, Everything, even in Berkeley, when I think of the university, fads come out and worldwide it goes. Whatever is a latest fad, everybody wants to follow it without thinking its repercussions, and we suffer. So Lord says that if you want to be peaceful, if you really want to be happy, then go against the current trends of fads, because fads are not what we really want. When Jesus Christ wanted to find peace, he did not go to university, he went on the top of the mountain and stayed there for 40 days, all by himself, and simply prayed, and he got not only the peace but the message from the Lord. And that's the message we are following today. His message is love your neighbor. He didn't say rob your neighbor. He didn't say deceive your neighbor. When we sell cars or sell products with fine lines that nobody understands what they are feeding us until we become sick. So, this sign of a wise man is truly to give up all the desires, and that when we give up the desires or the bondage, we will find peace. Now, how does he speak? He says, Dukheshu anudvignamanaha, Sukheshu vigataspruvaha, vitaragabhaya krodha stitadehi munir uchate. He is the wise man who is not perturbed when we face some misery, and misery is surely to come, sickness, accidents, unexpected events. Things don't happen the way we want, and so that causes us pain, but we must remain unperturbed because that is the sign of wisdom. And if we are happy, we should not be attached to happiness, because happiness is a passing thing and we will again be facing the misery. The happiness and misery are following each other, just like day follows the night and night follows the day. The birth follows the death and death follows the birth. Happiness and misery are two sides of the same coin. And so if we are aware of it, we will know how to deal with it. So he says, do not be attached to happiness as much as do not be perturbed with misery. Things will come. We must remain like a mountain unaffected by storms. Vitaraga bhaya krodha stitadihi munihi uchyate. This is slok number 56, in which he says, abandoning our attachment, our fear, and our anger. Well, these are the three things. Rag is desires. Then they cause fear because we know that we cannot fulfill our desires. More we try to fulfill, more the greed we have to fulfill the desires, and when we cannot fulfill, then we get angry with ourselves. So anger then is a reflection of our unfulfilled desires, and that's why Lord says that the desires causes anger. So do we want to be angry? No. So anger is a disease. Haste is anger. Anytime we are in a hurry, we are going to be the cause of losing our peace, and losing peace is anger. When we have no peace, that is when we have anger. So a wise man who is established in wisdom will be abandoning rag, bhai, and krodh, attachments to the things that are perishable, that are undependable. They are not what they look like, and of course they create fear. We had said, I think, in one of the sloks in the past of a saint Bhartruhari, that there is fear in everything in this world except in abandoning this desire for lust and greed. Only then vairagyam eva abhayam, detachment alone gives us the fearlessness, and fearlessness is a sign of a wise man. There is no man in this world who can be free, or yes, he is not free and he has fear. If we are rich, we are afraid whether our money we will be able to hold on. We don't know what will stock market do tomorrow to our money. I met a person only yesterday who was saying that even though I don't want to look at the stock market, at least 4 or 5 times in my computer I look at what the market is doing. I wish that we had looked at our wife and children 4 or 5 times during that day to see what they were doing rather than what the stock market was doing. But day and night, even in our dream probably, we must be thinking what the stock market is doing. So this is how this culture of bigger the better, this fantasy that we are so rich and next day we want to again, this vanity of wealth, these fads we create, the arrogance we have, and yet we go on and on and on. The teachings that the universities are supposed to give us, train our students to go for happiness, peace, and joy. Instead, they say just go for the bigger position, more money, bigger cars, and everything bigger, just the competition, teaching us totally to go in the opposite directions. Uh, so the Lord here says, Ya sarvatra anabhisneha tat tat prapya subhashubham na abhinandati na dvesti tasya pragya pratisthita. This is slok number 57. It says one who is detached everywhere with everything, because this world is a passing net, and we will be deceived and feel uncomfortable because we depended on things that were undependable and we did not find the peace we are looking for. So if whether someday we think it is a good day, sometimes it is not, sometimes it's pleasant, sometimes unpleasant, but whatever happens, like Mirabai, if we stay calm, in her life we see so many incidents, a constant happenings that would cause fear, but she was always calm. She knew that when we don't have anger, when we don't have any desire to deceive anybody, we are truthful, then we don't have to fear anything, no matter what happens and no matter what people go around us creating havocs. We can still remain at peace, like Jesus himself remaining at peace even at the danger of his life. So was Mahatma Gandhi, so were these people. They were fearless. They are the ones who are our ideal. That is, these are the signs of wisdom. We don't praise somebody nor we criticize somebody. We just look at the facts as they are, and they are in themselves a praise. Or if we do something evil, then that is a criticism itself. So we are our own pressure if we do good, and if we do something evil, then we will suffer in conscience, which is in itself is a criticism. So we don't have to worry about others criticizing. Our conscience will feel this up and down that we are going through. So we are talking about controlling the desires, and I was meditating on what these great saints are teaching us. One time I felt that which God we would want to worship, which prophet, which messengers. And this is not a small question. So I felt that I learned this from Gita, that if we were to carve out a huge statue, I would like to make four faces, one face of Jesus Christ, one of Sri Krishna, one of Buddha, one of Muhammad Sahib, four sides, and then have that statue rotate very fast. And whatever face you see is the face. There is no face, there is no name. You will just see what we really call Brahman. These ideas tell us that God really is beyond name and fame, or name, but we don't want to listen. It is love that each saint has taught us, the peace that they have taught us, but we are not listening. We just have our own desire to make ourselves narrow. We like to brand ourselves. We are a social creature. We make everything social out of good things, and then we wonder what we got at the end of a given party or a social event. I think talking about this abandoning desires, I would like to see what Lord Buddha has to teach. There is nobody, I think, who has taught in such simple language. One of the purposes of Lord Buddha or Jesus is to put things simply. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Mirabai, all these saints, as a matter of fact, all saints try to put it in a simple language. Let us see what Lord Buddha has to say about desires, because we have been talking about abandoning desires. Well, he says, if you sleep, if you are careless, if you are negligent, desires grow in you like a vine in the forest. There will be no control, the vine will go all over. Like a monkey in the forest, you jump from tree to tree, never finding the fruit. From life after life, never finding peace. If you are filled with desire, your sorrows will swell like the grass after the rain. But if you subdue your desire, your sorrows will fall away from you like drops of water from the lotus flower. This is a good counsel, good advice, and it is for everyone, every human being. As the grass is cleared for the fresh root, cut down the desires, lest death after death crush you as a river crushes the helpless reeds. For if the roots hold firm, a felled tree grows up again. If desires are not uprooted, sorrows grow again in you. 36 streams of desires are rushing towards you. Desire and pleasure and lust. Play in your imagination with them, and they will sweep you away like a flooding river. These are powerful streams like Mississippi. They flow everywhere. Strong vines. If you see it spring up, take care. Pull it out by the roots as soon as you see them growing. Pleasures flow everywhere. You float upon them, and you are carried away from life after life. Like a hunted hare, you run. The pursuer of desire is pursued himself, harried from life to life. The consumptive society is consumed itself. O seeker of love, give up desire. Shake off your chains, your slavery. You have come out of the hollow into the clearing. The clearing is empty. Why do you rush back into the hollow? Desire is a hollow. And people say, look, he was free. But now he gives up his freedom when you get married or buy a car or something. You think you have become free, but you have lost your freedom. It is not iron that imprisons us. It is not the rope or the wood, but the pleasure you take in gold and jewels, in sons and wives. These are soft fetters, the bondage, yet they hold you down. Can you snap them? There are those who can, who surrender the world, like Mira. Mat, tat, bhrat, bandhu, apno na koi, when he says the mother, father, sons, children, friends, the beauty and the body, nothing belongs to us, he says. So he says, there are those like her who can surrender the desires, who can surrender the world, forsake the desire, and follow the way of peace. O slave of desire, float upon the stream instead of drowning. Little spider, stick to your web, or else abandon your sorrow for the way of peace. Abandon yesterday, abandon tomorrow, and even abandon today. You are beyond time. Cross over to the further shore where there is no duality, no pain, no suffering, no birth, and no death. There is a life beyond death. Do your thoughts trouble you? Does passions disturb you? Beware of thirstiness. There is no end how much you are going to drink Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Lest your wishes become desires and desires bind you. Quieten your mind, calm down, sit down, reflect, watch what is happening. Nothing binds you. You are by nature free. You are strong. You have come to an end. Free from passion and desire, you have stripped the thorns from the stem. This is your last body, your last suffering. You are wise. You are free from desire. And you understand words and the stitching together of words, and you want nothing. Victory is mine, knowledge is mine, and all purity, all surrender. I want nothing. I am a free man. I am a free woman. I found my way. Whom shall I call teacher? The gift of truth is beyond giving, the taste beyond sweetness, the joy beyond the physical pleasures and lust. The end of desire is the end of sorrow. The fool is his own enemy. Seeking wealth, he destroys himself. Seek rather the other shore or wisdom. Weeds choke the field. Passion poisons the nature of man, and hatred, illusion, and desires. Honor the man who is without passion, hatred, illusion, and desire. What you give to him will be given back to you and more. This is what is the teaching of all great saints. To read properly the Bible or the Gita or Quran, these are the teachings. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.